You? What's good, y'all? It's YA girl Cassie Cumin at you with one of the wildest, most shocking stories to ever hit the rap game. I need y'all to really listen up because what I'm about to tell you ain't no regular industry rumor. This ain't no little blog talk. This right here. This is the kind of drama that breaks legacies, shakes fan bases, and makes the biggest names disappear overnight. And at the center of it all is Drake? Yes, the Drake. Champagne Papi. The sixth god himself. Now, y'all know Drake been running the charts for over a decade straight. Man's got plaques on plaques, sold out tours, and a fan base that rides for him like family. But tonight, that same family is questioning everything because according to brand new leaked info from people who claim they were right inside his camp, some of Drake's closest collaborators and ghostwriters have stepped forward, ready to expose the very secrets that Drake never wanted the world to know. And here's the part that got everybody shook. After those allegations hit the net, just a few hours ago, sources are saying Drake made the most drastic move of his entire career. Not a break. Not a hiatus. We talking about quitting music forever. Fans are already flooding social media with tears, think pieces, and straight up rage. Some saying this gotta be cap. Some saying they saw it coming. Others straight up heartbroken. But what could have possibly been exposed so bad that it made one of the most powerful rappers in the world pack it all up and walk away? Stay locked in, because what's coming next involves betrayals, broken trust, and a secret so deep it could rewrite hip-hop history as we know it. Yo, the night this story broke, it felt like the entire internet froze for a second. Like time actually stopped. The timeline was on fire. Comments were going crazy. And every blog page from Hollywood to Toronto was reposting the same few screenshots. It all started when an anonymous account dropped what they called the Drake files. At first, people laughed it off. They thought it was just another troll trying to get some clout. But then, that same account posted voice notes. Actual voice notes. And in those audio clips, you could hear voices that sounded way too familiar. People who claimed to be some of Drake's ghostwriters were talking about things that nobody outside that circle should have known. One of the voices, soft and calm but tired, said he always told us, if this ever came out, everything he built would crumble. Everything. And that's when the drama officially exploded. Within minutes, Drake's team went radio silent. No tweets, no Instagram stories, no comments, nothing. Fans were refreshing every few seconds, waiting for a response. Instead, what came next was even worse. A close friend of one of those alleged ghostwriters posted a blurry photo of a contract with certain names. Blacked out, but one signature wasn't hidden. And bro, that signature looked exactly like Drake's. The internet detectives got to work instantly. They zoomed in, matched old signatures, pulled up old OVO contracts from previous leaks. People were connecting dots that maybe shouldn't have been connected that fast. What made it even wilder was that the alleged ghostwriters weren't just talking about writing a few hooks or melodies. They were claiming they built entire albums, verses, punchlines. The same bars that fans used to quote on Instagram captions. Allegedly not written by Drake himself. Fans were losing their minds. One girl went live crying, saying, I feel like I've been in a relationship with a lie. How can he talk about real pain if it wasn't even his words? Another fan on Twitter wrote, man, I got Drake lyrics tatted on my arm. What am I supposed to do with that now? The sense of betrayal in the air was heavy. And then, just when things couldn't get messier, one of the alleged writers, a guy who used to work with other major artists before disappearing from the spotlight, popped up on Instagram Live. His face was half in shadow, voice trembling but firm. He knows who I am, he said. He knows exactly what we did. I kept quiet for years. I respected the code. But now, it's time people knew the truth. Because he's not who they think he is. That clip alone had over 2 million views in less than an hour. Meanwhile, sources close to Drake's family were whispering that behind closed doors, everything was falling apart. Apparently, Drake's mom was devastated. She's always been protective, always standing by her son. But when those recordings hit the net, even she allegedly broke down in tears. One of her longtime friends told a gossip outlet, "She feels like the world is turning against him, and she doesn't know how to help him through this one." The same time, Drake's crew, the same OVO guys who've been around him since the beginning, were starting to distance themselves quietly. No posts, no support, no defense. It was like everyone was waiting to see what Drake would do. Then came the first major twist. Around 2 a.m., a private message leaked between Drake and one of his closest collaborators. In it, Drake wrote, "They finally did it. They broke me. I'm done." Fans couldn't tell if it was real or fake, but the way that message spread, it didn't even matter anymore. The damage was done on social media. Hashtags like Drakey exposed Ghostgate and Champagne Fake were trending worldwide. One side of the internet was calling him a fraud, while the other was begging people to wait for the truth. But as more ghostwriters stepped forward, claiming they had receipts, it was getting harder and harder to defend him. A producer who worked with Drake back in 2015 even jumped into the drama, saying on a podcast, "Bro, been using ghostwriters since forever. It's just nobody had the courage to go public like this. This ain't new. This is tradition." People who had idolized Drake for years were now dissecting every song, every verse, wondering if it was real or just a product of a well-oiled machine. Reaction videos were flooding YouTube. Fans were literally burning merch on TikTok. Someone even went to the OVO store in Toronto and recorded themselves yelling, "He lied to us." And while the world was spiraling, Drake was nowhere to be seen. No public appearance, no live stream, nothing. Only silence. But the silence didn't last long. An insider from within the OVO camp leaked a voice note, allegedly from Drake himself, talking to someone he trusted. In that message, his voice was low, shaky, almost like he'd been crying. "I can't fight this anymore. I can't. They think they know everything, but they don't know what I went through. I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of everything. Maybe it's time I walk away." That was the moment the fans realized this wasn't just another PR scandal. This was personal. And as if things weren't dramatic enough, another bombshell hit. One of the ghostwriters claimed that some of the most iconic songs in Drake's career were written during a time when Drake was allegedly not even in the studio. They said he'd get the finished product. We'd give him the flow, the words, the emotion. All he had to do was record it. The betrayal in the fans' eyes turned to anger. Some were saying he should have just admitted it years ago. Some were saying this ends his legacy forever. Others were still holding on, praying it was all a setup. Behind the scenes, Drake's team was reportedly having heated meetings, trying to figure out how to control the narrative. Some were advising him to deny everything, go live and defend himself. Others were telling him to disappear and lay low until it died down, but according to sources, Drake made a different decision. A decision nobody expected. In that private inner circle, someone overheard him say, "I think I'm done with all this. Music gave me everything, but it also took everything from me. Maybe it's time I let it go." And that right there was the first whisper of Drake actually quitting music as the sun started to rise over Toronto that morning. The city felt different. Fans gathered outside OVO headquarters hoping to catch a glimpse to get answers. But the doors stayed locked. The curtains stayed closed. And the world was left wondering if the biggest rapper of a generation was really about to walk away from it all. The second recording was different. It wasn't just some anonymous voice talking in the dark or some ghostwriter going live from a basement studio. This time, it was Drake. No auto-tune, no polished interview, no clean mic. It sounded raw, like a late-night voicemail. In the clip, Drake said quietly, almost whispering, "They took everything from me. They think I'm weak. But they don't know what I've been hiding." Those words alone had the internet losing its mind. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it, tired, broken, like a man who wasn't just dealing with a scandal, but fighting something deeper. The timeline split into war zones. One side was like, he's finally breaking his silence, while the other side said, nah, this is all staged. He's trying to play the victim. Reaction videos popped up every 2 seconds. Some fans cried, others laughed bitterly, calling it an act. But the real chaos started when an alleged friend of Drake's cousin went on live and claimed, this isn't new. This has been building for years. You think Drake just woke up one day and decided to quit music? This has been eating him up for a long time. They started talking about alleged fights behind the scenes. According to them, Drake had been clashing with people inside his own team for months. Arguments about credit, about ownership, about what was real and what was fake. He started feeling like he didn't even own his own words anymore, the cousin's friend said. You could see it on his face. That man was tired. And then came another twist. One of the ghostwriters, the same dude who had gone live earlier, dropped screenshots of text messages. These weren't just casual convos. These were deep. They showed Drake allegedly begging them to keep quiet. Please don't do this. One message read, this will destroy everything. Not just me, everyone. Those messages went viral in seconds. The fan base went from shocked to speechless. The idea that Drake, the untouchable superstar, the man who built a whole empire off being untouchable, was privately begging people to stay silent. It broke something in the culture. This wasn't just a scandal anymore. It was a full-blown cultural earthquake. Even celebrities started reacting. A few rappers posted cryptic tweets like, should have kept it real from the jump, and legends don't need ghostwriters. Other artists came out defending him, saying, y'all act like nobody ever had help in the studio. The debate got messy fast. It wasn't just about Drake anymore. It was about the entire idea of authenticity in hip-hop. People were asking if Drake didn't write his biggest hits, what else is a lie? Back in Toronto, reporters were camped outside his mansion like it was a crime scene. Every black SUV that pulled out the driveway had cameras flashing. Neighbors said they could hear yelling some nights. Insiders said there were heated conversations between Drake and people in his inner circle. One insider claimed, man, he's not just mad at the ghostwriters. He's mad at everyone. He's mad at himself. Meanwhile, fans started digging into old interviews. Little clips where Drake hinted at feeling pressure, at being tired. Maybe I don't want to do this forever, he once said in a 2019 sit-down. Nobody took it seriously back then. But now those words sounded like foreshadowing. And then the most unexpected person jumped into the drama. Quentin Miller, the same name that had been tied to ghostwriting rumors years ago. He tweeted one simple sentence. Funny how the truth always circles back. The internet exploded. Fans started tagging him, demanding answers. But Quentin didn't say anything else. He didn't need to. That one line was enough to reignite an old fire that Drake thought had been buried for good. Late that night, a Toronto-based journalist claimed they received a tip from someone extremely close to Drake. According to the source, Drake was packing. Not metaphorically. Actually packing up his studio boxes, cables, plaques. The whole studio was being emptied out quietly. He's done, the source allegedly said. He told people he's done. Still, some people didn't believe it. They said, nah, this is all PR. Drake's just doing this to drop some emotional album. But others saw the cracks forming. The silence. The shaky voicemails. The lack of defense from his usually loud crew. This didn't feel like a rollout. It felt like a breakdown then. The most emotional moment of the entire saga happened. A fan who lived near the OVO mansion recorded a video from outside the gates. It was 3 a.m, no music, no lights, just silence. And then, faintly, you could hear a piano. Drake was inside, alone, playing something that sounded like a goodbye. No lyrics, just soft, haunting chords. The video went viral instantly. People were captioning it the end of an era. By now, his family was reportedly torn apart. Some were telling him to fight back, go live, clear his name. Others were telling him to step away for his mental health. One cousin allegedly said it's not even about the music anymore. It's about him surviving this. And that right there told everyone this situation was way deeper than anyone thought. But if fans thought they'd already seen the worst, they were wrong. Another recording surfaced, not from a ghostwriter this time, but from a private dinner that happened weeks before the scandal broke. In that clip, you could hear Drake talking to someone, saying, "I feel like I don't even own myself anymore. I'm a brand, not a person. Maybe it's better if I disappear before they destroy me." Those words hit hard. Fans replayed that clip 1,000 times. This wasn't the voice of a man plotting some genius comeback. This was the voice of someone who had already made up his mind. Meanwhile, UFO insiders leaked that a massive meeting was held inside Drake's house. Top management, lawyers, longtime friends, and family. People inside said it was tense. Some were yelling, some crying. At one point, someone close to Drake slammed a chair and shouted, "You can't let them win like this." Drake allegedly sat there silent, staring at the floor, not saying a single word. After that meeting, a black car pulled up to the house, and someone who looked like Drake's longtime manager left in a rush. Cameras caught him looking furious, talking on the phone. Fans started speculating that even his team was falling apart now. The public pressure was at its peak. Memes, think pieces, live debates, everyone was talking about the same thing. Is this the end of Drake? And then, out of nowhere, a note appeared on his Instagram story. White background, black text, short, simple, no caption. It said, "I've given the world my words for years. Maybe it's time to take them back." Those 10 words broke the internet. Millions of retweets, millions of reposts, people begging him not to quit, some accusing him of being a liar, some just sitting in shock. The #1 trending topic in the world was Drake. A few hours later, someone close to one of the ghostwriters posted a message on their story. It said, "He told us he'd walk away before he'd let anyone destroy him. Maybe y'all should believe him this time." And that's when it clicked for a lot of people. This wasn't some stunt. This was real. Drake was slowly backing out of the game he built his entire life on. But then, the biggest twist yet came in the form of a leaked video. A grainy, shaky clip filmed inside what looked like an OVO recording room. In it, Drake is seen arguing with someone. "You don't understand," Drake says, pacing back and forth. "They're not just exposing the music. They're exposing me. Everything I tried to protect. Everything I've been hiding." The other voice, calm but firm, says, "You can still fix this. Go out there. Speak your truth." Drake shakes his head. "Nah, I'm tired of speaking. I'm tired of pretending." That moment hit like a punch to the chest. Fans had never seen him like this. Not on stage, not in interviews, not anywhere. As the clip spread online, the entire industry seemed to hold its breath. This was bigger than music now. This was a man standing on the edge of walking away from a legacy. Some said it was brave. Others said it was selfish. But one thing everyone agreed on, something was about to change forever. And as the night fell on Toronto again, people started gathering outside the OVO mansion once more, holding signs, blasting his old songs. Some were chanting his name. Some were just crying. The city that once celebrated him like a king was now watching him fade into silence. But just when everyone thought Drake had made his decision and the story was over, something happened next morning that flipped the entire scandal upside down. The morning after the whole world thought it was over, the sun hit Toronto different. Everything felt heavier. Outside Drake's mansion, fans were camped out in hoodies and blankets. Some of them hadn't even gone home since the night before. The air was quiet, but it wasn't peaceful. It was the kind of silence that only comes before something big explodes again. Around 8 a.m., a delivery truck pulled up to the back entrance of the property. At first, everyone thought it was just some moving company coming to haul out the last pieces of his studio. But then somebody zoomed in on their phone and noticed the logo on the truck was from a private security service. That's when rumors started flying. He's leaving the country. He's hiding. He's gone for good. But then came the twist. Nobody saw coming. A man who claimed to be one of the main ghostwriters, the one everyone online had nicknamed. The Phantom Pen showed up outside a small Toronto radio station. He wasn't hiding anymore. Hoodie off, camera ready, he walked straight into the station like he had nothing to lose. Minutes later, the station went live on air. "I'm not here to tear anyone down," he said calmly into the mic, his voice steady but cold. "I'm here to tell the truth. And the truth is, he built an empire off the words of people he never gave credit to. People like me." Within seconds, the interview was being streamed everywhere. Clips, reposts, live watch parties. People weren't at work. They weren't at school. They were glued to their phones. The Phantom Pen started telling stories. Stories about long nights in studios where Drake allegedly never showed up. How entire verses were handed to him, fully formed. How checks were cut quietly to keep mouths shut. "The songs y'all cry to. The songs y'all scream at concerts." He said, "Those ain't his pain. That's ours. We lived those stories." He performed them. The internet exploded. Fans were in complete disbelief. One person on Twitter wrote, "Bro just admitted he gave us the soundtrack to our lives and didn't even get a thank you." Another wrote, "I can't lie. I feel betrayed in a way I can't explain." But what made it worse was what happened right after the interview. Someone inside the station leaked a part of the conversation that was never supposed to air. When the Phantom Pen thought the mic was off, he said quietly, "I warned him I'd do this if he ever tried to erase me again." Race. That word hit like a punch. People started asking questions. What else had been covered up? What deals were made in the dark? Meanwhile, inside Drake's camp, things were reportedly at a breaking point. Insiders claimed people were walking out. Lawyers were being called, contracts being pulled. It wasn't just his career anymore. It was everything: his friendships, his team, his empire. At the same time, social media was split right down the middle. Some fans started turning on him completely. Merch was being burned again. Playlists were getting wiped. Other fans refused to let go. One girl cried in a viral video saying, "I don't care who wrote it. It's his voice that got me through everything." It wasn't just gossip anymore. It was personal for people. And just when you thought the drama couldn't possibly get any deeper, a new recording leaked. But this time, it wasn't from a ghostwriter. It wasn't from a fan. It was from inside OVO.in. The clip, Drake could be heard yelling at someone in the studio. His voice was breaking, angry but cracked. "You think this is just about music?" he shouted. "You think they care about the truth? They want to see me fall. And I'm tired of fighting for something that doesn't even belong to me anymore." The other voice, quieter, said, "Then stop running." Drake paused, then said something that froze everyone. "I already did." Those three words, "I already did," became the headline of every blog within minutes. People started dissecting it like it was scripture. Was he talking about quitting music? About giving up control of his art? About walking away from his legacy? While the internet debated, another bombshell dropped. One of his closest friends, someone who had been around since the Degrassi days, posted a black square on Instagram with one sentence: "He's not the villain. He's just broken." Fans were confused. Broken. What did that mean? Was it deeper than the music? Then came the emotional avalanche. A family friend of Drake's mom did an interview with a local gossip show, tearfully saying he's not okay. This isn't about ghostwriting anymore. This is about a man who built something so big it started to crush him. That same day, a mysterious email started circulating between media outlets. It was allegedly from Drake's legal team. The email said they were preparing an official statement regarding his departure from all music-related activities effective immediately. Fans read that line over and over. Departure, all music-related activities. It sounded final dot outside the mansion. The crowd grew. Some people started blasting Marvin's Room on speakers, singing through tears. Others were yelling for him to come out and speak. It felt like a vigil, not a fan gathering. Inside, sources said Drake wasn't answering calls anymore. Not to his mom, not to his team, not to anyone. One of his security guards allegedly told a reporter he's in a dark place right now. This isn't about a statement. It's about him trying to breathe. But in the middle of that storm, an unexpected face appeared. One of the other ghostwriters, someone who had stayed silent the entire time, went live. His face was calm, almost sad. "You don't get it," he said to the viewers. "None of us wanted this. We didn't want to destroy him. We just wanted him to admit it, to stop acting like he was the only one who bled into those tracks." The comments section went crazy. Some fans were furious, accusing the ghostwriters of trying to tear him down for clout. Others said this was justice long overdue. But something about the way that Ghostwriter spoke felt real, almost too real. "He's hurting right now," he continued, "more than y'all can imagine. And so are we. Because no matter what, those songs are ours too. We loved them. We loved him. But he pushed us away like we never existed." That live shifted the tone of the entire scandal. People started seeing cracks on both sides. Maybe this wasn't just a simple betrayal. Maybe it was layered, messy, human. Still, the damage was done. Record labels were reportedly pulling back from pending deals. Brands were freezing campaigns. Tour dates were quietly disappearing from websites. The empire was cracking in real time. That night, Toronto was eerily quiet again. Except this time, fans outside his mansion weren't yelling anymore. They were whispering, holding phones, holding signs that said, "We still love you." And then, the mansion gates opened. For the first time since the scandal broke, Drake stepped outside. No flashy outfit, no jewelry, just a hoodie and sweats. The crowd gasped. Phones shot up like a wall of lights. He didn't smile. He didn't wave. He just stood there for a moment, looking at the crowd like he was trying to memorize their faces. Someone in the crowd yelled, "Don't quit." Another voice said, "We got you." A girl started crying uncontrollably. And then he spoke, quietly, almost too soft to hear at first. "I gave this city everything," he said, his voice cracking. "I gave the world everything, and they still want more. They want pieces of me that I don't even got left." The crowd went silent. "I'm not a god. I'm just a man who tried to tell his story," he continued. "And maybe the story's done." He turned around slowly and walked back inside, the gates closing behind him like the end of a movie scene. The internet lost its mind. Tweets, lives, reaction videos. The clip of him saying maybe the story's done was on every platform within minutes. People were crying. Others were furious. The rap game felt like it had just changed forever. The world didn't even have time to catch its breath after that night. That clip of Drake outside his house, the hoodie, the cracked voice, the quiet "maybe the story's done." It went everywhere. Every single blog, every single gossip page, every single fan account reposted it like a farewell speech. People started calling it the last words of the sixth god. Hashtags like "Goodbye Drake" and "Endofanera" started trending before the sun even rose. Again, but what nobody expected was how fast things would spiral after that by early afternoon. News vans and paparazzi surrounded his mansion like a fortress. Helicopters were hovering overhead. Fans had covered the entire front gate in flowers, letters, OVO, merch, and posters. It looked like a memorial, except he wasn't gone. Not physically. But something about it felt final. Inside those gates, though, something else was happening. According to multiple insiders, Drake had called a private meeting, not with lawyers or label executives, but with three people who had once been the closest to him creatively. Two producers, and one ghostwriter. Not just any ghostwriter. The Phantom Pen himself. No one saw them go in, but word spread fast. By nightfall, everyone knew they were inside. The city held its breath. The internet went silent for the first time in days. It was like everyone collectively knew something was about to shift. Hours later, whispers started leaking. The meeting was not calm. It wasn't some peaceful, teary reconciliation. It was chaos. Raised voices, accusations, old wounds being ripped open. One insider told a gossip site it sounded like a storm inside that house. You could hear yelling from the driveway. The phantom pen allegedly shouted, "We gave you everything." Drake reportedly fired back, and I gave it a voice. Drake reportedly fired back, and I gave it a voice. Another insider claimed there was a moment where Drake slammed his hand on the table and said, "You think I wanted it to be like this? I didn't even want this life anymore," the ghostwriter shot back. "Then why pretend for so long?" And that was the part that everyone would talk about later. The word pretend. Because in that moment, according to someone inside, Drake didn't deny it. He just sat there in silence, outside. Fans were live streaming the gate. They couldn't see anything, but the tension was so thick. People stayed glued to their screens like they were watching a live episode of a reality show. TikTok edits started appearing in real time. Slow music. Black and white filters. Captions like the day Drake let it all go. After nearly 4 hours, the phantom pen was seen leaving through a side gate. Face covered, hoodie up. He didn't talk to reporters. He didn't wave. But his expression said everything. Not victory, not satisfaction, but exhaustion. Like someone who finally dropped the weight they'd been carrying for years. Right after that, another bombshell hit the internet. Someone leaked a blurry photo from inside the house. It showed a giant stack of hard drives, folders, lyric sheets, and what looked like a handwritten letter sitting on top. The note said, "I can't be what they want me to be anymore." Fans couldn't process it. Some said it was fake. Some said it was real. But the timing was too perfect. To raw dot, just as the world was melting down again, Drake's mother was spotted arriving at the house. Her face looked pale, worried, like a woman watching her son drown in public. She didn't speak to anyone, but someone close to her later told a gossip outlet she begged him not to do anything crazy. She's terrified. This isn't about music anymore. This is about her son. Around midnight, a black SUV with tinted windows pulled up. This time, it wasn't a ghostwriter. It wasn't his team. It was a well-known therapist he'd allegedly been seeing quietly for months. Word spread fast. People started saying this isn't a rollout. This is real. And then came the part nobody saw coming. Dog Drake went live on Instagram. No warning. No fancy camera setup. No background music. Just his face, sitting in a dimly lit room wearing the same hoodie from the night before. His eyes were red like he hadn't slept in days. When the viewer count shot past 2 million in less than 30 seconds. He just stared at the screen for a long moment, silent. The comment section exploded with hearts, crying emojis. "Don't leave, and we love you." Finally, he spoke. His voice was soft, hoarse, shaky. "I never thought it would end like this," he said. "I built something I thought was mine. I built a story I thought I owned. But maybe I never did." He paused. Fans held their breath. "I spent years trying to be what everyone wanted me to be. And every time I gave more, they asked for more. But the truth is, a lot of those words y'all love so much, they weren't mine. And I should have been honest. I should have said something, but I didn't. And now everything's falling apart." The live chat went wild. People were crying in real time. Some forgiving him, some angry, some just broken. "I love music," he continued, looking down. "But music don't love me back. Not like it used to. It's like I can't even hear it the same way anymore. It's like my own voice stopped belonging to me a long time ago." He took a deep breath, his hands shaking slightly. "So yeah, I'm done. Not because they exposed me. Not because they broke me, but because I can't keep lying to myself. I'm done." Millions of people watched him say it. No rehearsed statement. No PR team. Just raw emotion. Within minutes, celebrities started reacting. Some big rappers posted cryptic messages like, "Respect the honesty and the game will never be the same." Other artists, clearly hurt, said, "You can't just leave like that." The media went insane. Major outlets called it the most shocking live of the decade. Blogs wrote headlines like "The Fall of a Legend" and "Drake Walks Away from Music Forever." But while the world processed the news, something quieter and more emotional was happening back in Toronto. Outside the mansion, fans started singing. No music, no auto-tune. Just hundreds of people softly singing his old songs, holding candles, crying. It wasn't just a scandal anymore. It felt like a goodbye concert without a stage inside. Sources said Drake was sitting at the piano again. No recording, no cameras, just playing. One friend who spoke anonymously said it's like he's already gone, like he left before the world even realized it. The next morning, OVO's official website changed. No tour dates, no new merch. Just a black screen with one line of text, "Thank you for listening." That single line crashed the internet again. Fans around the world were posting videos of themselves crying, sharing memories of the first time they heard his songs. Hashtags like Forever Drake and Champagne Funeral trended worldwide. But of course, not everyone was sad.